And I also hope that you are having an amazing day so far. All right, so for today, we will be doing our grade one lesson. We'll be doing our grade one English lesson on sentence types. So we'll be doing our grade one English lesson on sentence types. And before we start our lesson on sentence types, we are going to log into aplusstudents.ca, and we're going to log in with our username as well as our password. Once we've logged in with our username as well as our password, and then we're going to select the subject of language arts and grade one. All right, so once we have done so, then we're going to select this chapter of sentence types. So we're going to select the subject of sentence types. Okay, so today, under the chapter of sentence types, the lessons that we're going to be focusing on, we're going to be focusing on quite a few lessons today under the chapter of sentence types, right? It does look a lot, but it's only because we are going to be focusing on each one of the sentence types individually. So with the sentence types, the first lesson that we are going to be focusing on is to identify a statement, and then we're going to identify a question, then we're going to identify command, identify exclamation, then we're going to choose the right end mark, and then we are going to say if it's a statement, question, command, or an exclamation, right? So then we're going to have to see if it's either one of those sentences. All right, so when it comes to sentence types, right, there are four different types of sentences. So there's four different types of sentences. And the four different types of sentences, we have a statement, and then we have a question, then we have a command, and then we have an exclamation. So the four different types of sentences, we have a statement, we have a question, command, and we have an exclamation, right? And each one of these sentences serves a purpose. So each sentence serves a purpose, right? So whether it is a statement, a question, command, and exclamation, each one of them serves a purpose. So when it comes to a statement, right? When it comes to statement, a statement is when it is telling someone something, right? So it's like when you're telling someone something. And usually with a statement, um, when you tell someone something, you do not really expect a response back, right? Um, it's like saying, I'm going to school, or saying, I love school, right? That is just you telling someone something. And if you're telling me that, then I can choose to respond. I can just choose to nod, or I can just choose to, you know, do like an verbal communication, be like, or something. Because that is just you saying that I love school, or I love my parents, or something, right? So that is just you saying something. And we have a question, right? So question sentence is where you are asking a question, right? So you're asking a question. And when we ask a question, right, and then we expect a response. So if you ask somebody, or if I ask you, how old are you? What is your name? And then you will respond by either telling me what based on whatever the question is, you will give me the response. So if I ask you how old are you, and then you probably tell me I am 6 years old, or I am 7 years old, or whichever age you are. If I ask what is your name, then you will tell me my name is right? My name is Anna, or so on. So that is a question. And with a question, your sentence needs to end with a question mark, right? So your sentence needs to end with a question mark, and this is a question mark. So it ends with a question mark. Then we have a command, right? A command. And a command is basically a request, or it's like telling someone to do something, right? So it's either you are requesting something or you are telling somebody to do something. And with a command, it's like saying, close the door, right? So it's not that you are definitely commanding somebody to say something like, you better close the door. No, that is not basically what a command really means in the sentence, right? So, unless depending on how you say it and with what type of emotion or tone, right, then the command will kind of sound, a bit vile or harsh. But a command is basically just saying things like, close the door, do your chores, um, pick up your toys, right? So that is a command. It's like where you either telling somebody to do something or someone is telling you to do something, or it's like a request. And with a command, the sentence will either end with a full stop or it will end with an exclamation mark, right? And then we have an exclamation sentence, right? And with an exclamation sentence, this is where it's either where you show some form of strong emotion, right? So it is like a statement, but we are showing more emotions, strong emotions, feelings. You even show some forms of excitement, right? Um, yeah, so you show excitement. Sometimes you even show when you are angry, right? And then your sentence will end with an exclamation point, so an exclamation mark. So that is our four different types of sentences. And just before we continue, all of our lessons or today's lessons will be done on aplusstudents.ca. So even if you do want to go back later on and go over the lesson again, we are doing it on aplusstudents.ca. All right, so now we're going back to our tutorial on aplusstudents.ca and going into the sentence types. So we're going into the first lesson, which is to identify statements. All right, so when we identify statements, right, we need to now say basically which one is a statement. We say which one is a statement. We say that a statement, it tells us something, right? It's like when you're telling either about something, um, and like I say, it is you do not expect a response. So if I'm telling you about something, and then you can choose if you want to respond, right? But it's not like a question. It's not like you need to get up and do something for me, because I'm not requesting of you and I'm not asking you a question in order to get a response. So a statement, it tells about something. So if you say, I love my teacher, right? That is how you feel. You love your teacher. You're just telling us about something, or you're telling me, my day was good, right? I had a good day. Um, that is you telling us you had a good day without us even asking you, right? So that is a sentence. And with a statement, um, it ends with a period. So with a statement, it ends with a period. And a period is it's basically like full stop, right? So it ends with a period. So after every sentence, your sentence ends with a period. It's like a full stop. And if we look at the examples, right, of a statement, the examples of a statement is a lamb is a baby sheep, right? So a lamb is a baby sheep. It's like you're just telling us about something, that a lamb is a baby sheep, right? So, and it ends with a period, as you can see. Sam took a cookie, right? So Sam took a cookie. You are telling us that Sam took a cookie, right? So, and it also ends with a period. And that is a statement. So, a statement, it tells us about something, right? So, statement tells us about something. So, now we are going to choose which one is a statement, right? So today we are like not today, but specifically in this lesson, we are only going to be focusing on what a statement is because here it says identify statements. All right, so we see that the statement it tells us about something and it ends with a period. And there we have the sentence which is a lamb is a baby sheep, right? That is a sentence. It is basically just telling us about something. Or Sam took a cookie. It is telling us about something, right? All right. So, with a statement, right, if you also look at more sentences when it comes to statements, it's the same as you saying, I love my mom, right? Or I love my dad, or I love my parents, I love my school. And it ends with a period. This is just you telling us about something. All right, so now let's go to our test where we are going to say, where we are going to basically learn about more about statements. All right, so if we look at these sentences, right, which one is a statement? So earlier on, we on the whiteboard, um, I broke down as to what a statement is, what a question is, what an command is, as well as what an exclamation is, right? And we said a statement, it's where you are just telling about something. A question is where you're asking a question and it ends with a question mark. An exclamation is where they are commanding or requesting you to do something. And an exclamation is when it's like you are showing strong emotions, right? Or strong feelings, right? And it ends with an exclamation point. All right, so if we look at these four options, which one is a statement? So now we need to say which one is a statement. Is it Janet is a great swimmer? How did you get here? Get in the pool. Or the water is cold. So we need to choose one of these sentences and then we need to say that one of this is a statement. So we need to say which one is a statement. All right, so if we look at the four different options, right? And then we are going to say that the first one is a statement, right? It is basically just telling us about something, that Janet is a great swimmer. Because the second one is a question, the third one is a command, and the fourth one is an exclamation. All right. We need to say which one is a statement, right? And if we look at the sentence or the different sentences, is it the first option, which is to get there on time with an exclamation point? The turtle went back into the water. So the turtle went back into the water. Don't cross the road. Or is there any cake left? So we need to say if one of these are sentences. So which one of this is a sentence? All right, and if we look at our different options, right? Get there on time, that's an exclamation sentence, right? The turtle went back into the water. So we are going to choose option 2 as a statement. All right, so which one is a statement? Don't trip on the rug with an exclamation point. Some people can't eat peanuts. Can you get the phone? Question mark. Or John, sit down. So we need to say which one is just telling us about something and ends with a period. All right, so if we choose which one the statement is, then we're going to choose option 2, which is some people can't eat peanuts. All right. So now we're going on to the next lesson, which is to identify questions, right? So we're now going to identify questions. And with identifying questions, right, we see that a question, it asks something. So a question asks something and it ends with a question mark. So question, it asks something. It's asking something. And when you're asking something, and then it's either you expect that thing back or you're expecting a response back, right? And it ends with a question mark, right? So question mark being this, and that's a question mark, right? So how do airplanes stay up? So it's like you asking either your teacher or asking your parents, how do airplanes stay up? And now the person that you're asking will tell you how airplanes stay up. Or are we there yet? It's a question. So we're either going to say, yes, we are almost there, or no, we still have an hour to drive, for example, right? So with a question, you expect a response. And then we have an exclamation, right? And an exclamation is like a statement, but it shows some surprise or strong feelings, right? And it ends with an exclamation point, right? And this is an exclamation point. There's a turtle on the road. So that is an example of an exclamation. There's a turtle on the road, right? Meaning that you guys are driving and you see a turtle on the road. So with you showing the strong feeling or surprise, right? It's almost like saying that, if you're driving in the car, they need to slow down because there's a turtle on the road. Or today is Rose's birthday, right? Which means that you are showing some form of strong feeling or excitement that today is Rose's birthday, or even saying today is my birthday, right? So you are excited. And whenever you are showing either strong feelings or show surprise, and then it ends with a question mark or an exclamation point. An exclamation point or an exclamation mark. And then we have a command, right? A command tells someone to do something. And most of the time, a command ends with a period, right? If it shows strong feeling, it ends with an exclamation point, right? So, for example, if you're telling someone to do something or requesting of someone to do something, then you can just maybe say, put on your shoes, right? It's like you're commanding somebody, put on your shoes, do the dishes, right? But now, if you're showing strong feelings, right, then you can say, be nice to your sister. That is like maybe if you and your sibling is not being nice with one another, right? So now you show strong feeling and it ends with an exclamation point. All right, so now we're going on to our test, right, where we identify questions. So now we need to say which one is a question based on the four options that we have. So here we have four options, one being a statement, one being a question, one being a command, and one being an exclamation. But we specifically need to say which one is a question. So which one is a question? Is it Robin drinks milk with her lunch? When did Tess go to Boston? Don't pet dog. Don't pet that dog. So it's like don't pet that dog. Or yum. This sandwich is so tasty. So you need to look at these options, either number one, two, three, or four. Which one is a question? Which one asks a question, right? Where you are going to respond. Which one ends with a question mark? Because that is a question. All right, and if we choose what a question is, and then we can choose option two. We can choose number two because number two is when did Tess go to Boston, right? It is a question that is being asked. So they will either say, oh, she went last week, or she went on the, right, or she went yesterday. Which one is a question? Is it option one, which is what are you working on? Or number two, Miss Kent takes the train to work. Number three, wow, what a big dog. Or number four, take your shoes off. So we need to say which one is a question. So is it number one, number two, number three, and number four? A question. Remember, a question is where you are asking something, right? And you expect a response, and it ends with a question mark or question point. So we need to identify which one is a question. And if we identify which one is a question, and then we're going to choose option one. It's asking, what are you working on? And the person will probably respond by saying, I am finishing my art project. I am finishing this something something, right? So well done. Which one is a question? We need to look at the four options. Is it number one, frogs come in many colors? Leave the frogs alone. What do you want for lunch? Or is the third one, the frog is huge? So we need to choose one of the four options. Which one is a question? Remember, it's a question, and a question is something that you are asking, and it ends with a question mark or question point. All right, so if we choose which one is a question, we will say we will choose option 3, right? What do you want for lunch? So well done. All right, so that is where for us that is us identifying, sorry, questions, sorry. So now we're going to identify a exclamation, right? And with an exclamation, and with an exclamation is like a statement, but it shows surprise or it shows strong feeling, right? And with an exclamation, it ends with an exclamation point, right? And we say that it ends with an exclamation point, and that is an exclamation point. So an exclamation is like a statement, right? But it shows surprise or strong feeling, right? Sometimes it shows excitement, or it can even show that you are angry, right? That is why we're saying it shows strong feeling and it ends with an exclamation point. And here we have a few examples. There's a turtle on the road. Meaning you guys are driving and now you guys are seeing a turtle on the road and you can say, there's a turtle on the road. So you're going to basically tell your parents to stop. And it's like you're showing strong feelings, emotion, like, stop the car. Or today is Rose's birthday. Or today is my birthday. Or today is M's birthday, right? You are showing excitement. You are happy. And that is an exclamation point, right? Or an exclamation sentence, which is a statement, right? And with an exclamation statement, it shows surprise or it shows strong feeling, right? All right, and then we're going to identify command. And with identifying a command, right, as a sentence, a command sentence, a command, it tells someone to do something. So command, it tells someone to do something, right? It's like requesting of someone to do something. And with a command, most of the time, a command ends with a period. Most times, right? Because I'm just telling you to close the door. I'm telling you to do your chores. I'm telling you to pick up your toys, pack your clothes away, right? So it ends with a period. But if the command shows strong feeling, then it ends with an exclamation point. So if it shows strong feeling, and then it ends with an exclamation point. And here we have two examples of a command. One being put on your shoes. It's like your mom or your parent is telling you to put on your shoes. We're going to be late. Go get your bag. Pack your lunch, right? But now, if it shows strong feeling, right, then they can maybe say something like, be nice to your sister, right? Because the two of you are either maybe fighting or arguing, right? And that is a command. And so far, we went over all four of the different sentences, right? Where we explained a statement which tells us about something, a question which asks a question ends with a question mark, an exclamation which is like a statement but it shows surprise, strong feelings, excitement, right? And ends with an exclamation point. And then we have a command, and a command tells someone to do something. A command either ends with a period, but if it shows strong feeling, and then it ends with an exclamation point. All right, we're going to have to choose the right end mark, right? So we're going to look at the different sentences and then we are going to choose the right end mark. Does it end with a period? Does it end with a question mark or an exclamation point, right? And we said a statement ends with a period, a question ends with a question mark, an exclamation ends with an exclamation point, and a command sometimes ends with a period or it ends with a exclamation point depending on if you're showing strong feelings. All right, so if we look at the sentence, right, it says complete the exclamation with the right mark. So the exclamation, we need to complete the exclamation with the right end mark. That is your best painting ever. So an exclamation point. So if we write an exclamation point, and then we are going to end it with our exclamation point, right? And that is an exclamation point. So an exclamation sentence ends with an exclamation point. It yet says complete the exclamation with the right end mark. Today is my birthday, right? And they want us to end it with an exclamation, right? Or exclamation point. And if we put an exclamation point, it's going to look like this. That is an exclamation point. All right, we need to complete the question with the right end mark. Remember, a question, it asks a question. And when it comes to a question, do we end a sentence with a period, an exclamation point, or do we end it with a question mark? When does the show start? Now we need to end it with the right end mark. When does the show start? Or how old are you? Or what are you doing? So if we end it with the right end mark or complete it with the right end mark, and then we will choose a question mark, right? And that it ends, and that question ends with a question mark. All right, so now we're going on to our test, right, where we are going to choose the right end mark. We're going to choose the right end mark. We need to complete the exclamation with the right end mark. The exclamation. That is your best painting ever. We need to choose one of these characters as our exclamation, as an exclamation sentence, right? So an exclamation sentence, does it end with an exclamation point, a question mark, or a period? So we need to choose one of that options. All right, so if we are going to complete the exclamation with the right end mark, And then we are going to choose option 1, because option 1 is an exclamation point. All right. Today is my birthday. We need to complete the exclamation with the right end mark. So also an exclamation, right? So with an exclamation, today is my birthday. Does it end with a question mark? Does it end with a period? Or does it end with an exclamation point? We need to complete the exclamation sentence with the right end mark. The exclamation sentence with the right end mark. All right, so if we complete the exclamation with the right end mark, we will choose the exclamation point, because an exclamation sentence ends with an exclamation point. And if you have that, then well done. We need to complete the statement with the right end mark. The statement, right? Friends help each other. So friends help each other. So a statement, does a statement end with a question mark? Does it end with a period? Or does a statement end with an exclamation point? A statement. All right, so if we choose the correct end mark, right, we see that a statement is just you telling someone about something, right? And it just ends with a period. That is a statement. It ends with a period. All right. And lastly, we're going to the lesson of, is it a statement, question, command, or exclamation, right? And we said that we explained the 4 different types of sentences, right? We said a statement, it tells us about something and it ends with a P, right? Then question, and a question asks something and it ends with a question mark. So that asks something, or it asks something and ends with a question mark. And then we have an exclamation. An exclamation is like a statement. It is like a statement, but it shows surprise or it shows strong feelings, right? And it ends with an exclamation point. And then we have a command that tells someone to do something. It's like requesting of someone to do something. And most of the time, right, a command, it ends with either a period, but if it shows strong feelings, right, and then it ends with an exclamation point. And that is the 4 different types of sentences, or 4 kinds of sentences. So now we're going to say, what kind of sentence is this? Can you jump as high as Gabby? And it ends with a question mark. Can you jump as high as Gabby? And if we look at that sentence, we need to say if it's a statement, a question, a command, or an exclamation. So we need to say if it's a statement, a question, a command, or an exclamation. And since that question ends with a question mark, we will say that it is a question. So this is a question sentence, right? It asks a question. So can you jump as high as Gabby? So you'll either say, yes, I can, or nope, I cannot. Do you like horses? Do you like horses? And it ends with a question mark. Is that a statement, a question, an exclamation, or a command? We need to say what kind of sentence it is. Do you like horses? And it ends with a question mark. All right, and this sentence is a question because it's asking a question. And this is a question sentence because it asks a question and it ends with a question mark. Dana's rabbit is black and white and it ends with a period. What kind of sentence is this? Is it a statement? Is it a question? Is it a command? Or is it an exclamation? Dana's rabbit is black and white and ends with a period. So we need to say if it is a statement, sentence, a question, an exclamation, or a command. And it ends with a period. All right, so if we choose the kind of sentence that it is, right, it is just telling someone about something. So which means that this is a statement, right? And it ends with a period. All right, and now we're going to do our test. We are either saying it's a question, a statement, a command, or an exclamation. So what kind of sentence is this? A bird flew in the window. A bird flew in the window. And it ends with an exclamation point. Is it an exclamation, a statement, a question, or a command? A bird flew in the window. We need to say if it is an exclamation, a statement, a question, or a command. All right, so a bird flew in the window. That is an exclamation. So I think a bird flew in the window, right? Showing surprise. I love my cat so much. Is that a statement, an exclamation, a command, or a question? I love my cat so much. And this is an exclamation because it ends with an exclamation point. Which doll is Gabby's? And it ends with a question mark. Is that a statement, an exclamation, a question, or a command? Which doll is Gabby's? And ends with a question mark. And if it ends with a question mark, then it means a question. All right. So that is our chapter on sentence types, right? That is our chapter on sentence types. And we went over quite a few lessons. We went over quite a few lessons. We identified statements, where we said a statement is telling someone about something. We identified a question, and questions are, it's like where you're asking questions, right? You're asking somebody a question and it ends with a question mark. We identified exclamations, and an exclamation shows strong feelings or emotions, right? Even shows excitement and ends with an exclamation point. And then we also identified commands, and commands is like where you're telling someone to do something. And most times a command ends with a period. But if it shows strong feelings and then it ends with an exclamation point, right? So that is our 4 different sentence types. So whenever we are either writing sentences or even in conversation, right, we need to know if it is either a question, if it is just us making a statement, or if we are either showing strong feelings, or if we are commanding someone or requesting someone to do something. All right, grade ones, that is now the end of our lesson on sentence types. Thank you very much for joining our lesson or our class today. You should have an amazing day further. Goodbye.